Once upon a time, in the far-off land of Hollywood, there was a little company called Pixar. I'm sure you've heard of it. Back when this company had a no-lose streak, they created a little movie called A Bug's Life. But another rival company had been trying its best to imitate them, had already released their take on the story. And years later, Warner Brothers comes along and says, hey, if ant movies are so popular, we can make an ant movie too. Thus, the Ant Bully was made. Greetings to the world of the internet, I am the great Matthew Squeak, and welcome to Squirrel Talk Review. Even though this movie was released almost 8 years after the other Ant movie, it's still hard to dismiss those feelings of deja vu, especially concerning the mental wake these two made in their feud to one-up each other. But seeing CGI movies can take forever and a day to make, who knows? This movie is actually based off of a book, which I know I've been doing a lot of lately. I swear I'm not doing it on purpose. It just keeps happening that way. A children's picture book, in fact, by John Nichol. Guess that gives them plenty to work with. Let's go ahead and have a look at the Ant Bully. We start off with ants doing their thing. Okay, I'll try and keep the number of references to the other two movies to a minimum. Actually, it opens deep within the sleeping chambers where Nicolas Cage Ant
that's it! Spindle! Tail light!
Has found some ingredients for his potion.
I'm so sorry, but I must have the final ingredient for my potion. Now, what's more important? Me completing my life's work for the salvation of the colony, which includes you guys, or your sleep?
Sleep! I'm going with sleep!
Yeah, the second one.
Careful guys, that is Nicolas Cage. If you shout and try to be snarky with him, he just might completely go
Cocktail!
off the rails. We then get introduced to the bully of the story, the one the ants refer to as the Destroyer, and the batch of kids that pick on him.
Nothing, because I'm big and you're small.
Yeah, because he's big and you're small.
Hey!
Ow.
Quit repeating everything I say.
You tell him. It's overly cliched and makes you sound less intelligent. This shows us why he's a bully to the ants. It was short, but it got the job done. I guess. Oh no, the colony's being attacked! Quick, everyone run outside where you're an easier target! During this Armageddon, we get to know another character, Hova, who's
always wanted to see a human up close. I hear they're capable of speech.
who's just as crazy as Nicolas Cage is.
Mean you no harm.
If not crazier. I know these are cartoony ants, but I can't help but feel like I'm watching a mass genocide going on in front of me. But before our newly introduced characters can get sent to the big anthill in the sky, the Destroyer remembers that this movie needs to be PG, so he lets them slide. This time. We meet the Destroyers, aka Lucas's parents, briefly before they hit the road, leaving them in the careful, watchful eye of...
Preventing alien abduction, that's what I'm doing.
Really? You left the kids in the care of this old bat? I think Granny needs to be put into a senior home, not keeping the house from blowing up.
Airflow. Aliens hate airflow. Drives them nuts.
She annoys me. Let's just go see what the ants are doing. Nicolas Cage Ant is desperately trying to perfect his potion, and it's not going well.
But what are you doing?
Nothing.
No.
I'm not doing anything.
No. Okay,
I'm
no.
simply walking towards you. There's no reason to panic. There's no reason to panic. I just gotta...
Okay, so not only do these two get some funny lines out here, but this is also pretty cute the way couples stupidly entertain one another. Well, he eventually does get the potion right. Good thing too, because... Yes! The
5-day outlook is calling for intense flooding, followed by the end of the world! With a slight chance of patchy sunshine later in the week.
And we're also watching another mass murder, even more graphic than the last one. Are you sure this was meant to be a kids' movie? Speaking of questionable moves in a kids' movie, check out this piece of work.
Yeah, I was about your age when I flooded my first colony. Ho, brother, those were good times. Good times!
Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
Now, your dad ordered my services, but he forgot to sign the contract before he left. Busy man. Lot on his mind, it happens. So he just told me to talk to you.
So, exactly how slow does your workday have to be when you have to resort to this tomfoolery? Yeah, that's it. He's not trying to rob the house while the parents are away or sign them into an overly priced contract. He's trying to clear the lot of bugs. For some reason. Lucas isn't as dumb as he looks, though. Signing suspicious contracts is right up there with taking candies from strangers.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Kids, if a stranger approaches you and does any of the following...
Mommy, what do I do? I'm just a little baby that can't think for myself. Please wipe my little bottom for me. Wipe me. Oh, please. Wipe me.
Run away and find an adult immediately. Where is the adult in this situation?
Get away! I got a fan! I'm Wendy!
Alright, we left Granny in charge. I don't know why Lucas didn't behave like any normal kid and kick him where the sun don't shine or run away, but we need some suspense for the climax. So with the last act all set up to happen later in the movie, it's time for the main event. An ant commando unit sneaks into the Lucas's room.
We slaughtered termites just for fun, hurrah, hurrah.
Okay, I swear, that's the last one. And they slip a potion into his ear that shrinks him down into his birthday suit. And abduct him. Couldn't have shrunk his clothes too? No, really, he's still naked. Okay, I'm not comfortable with this anymore. Fast forward till he puts pants on. Now equipped with a loincloth. Finally, Lucas stands trial for his crimes.
Read the charges.
This human destructor beast, hereafter referred to as Peanut the Destroyer, did willfully and with malice aforethought crush the food storage chambers, flood all of the lower hatching chambers,
and commit mass genocide repeatedly, but you know, we're trying to keep our PG rating. So the Queen Ant comes out and judges Lucas.
I therefore sentence the human to live and work in the colony, to learn our ways. He must become an ant.
Translation, he got off with community service. So his first day of community service begins. I mean, learning to become an ant. And his first job is learning the trade of foraging. And teamwork, apparently.
In this test, each team must act as a single unit to avoid obstacles, retrieve the sweet rock, and return to the nest. No ant gets left behind. First team back wins. Any questions?
No. We've already got Nicolas Cage Ant. We don't need any more Looney Tune characters. Worth bringing up now, after the movie makes it look like he and Lucas would be the main characters of this film, Nicolas Cage Ant is suddenly barely in it for the second act. He was easily the most entertaining, certainly better than this nuthole replacing him that does absolutely nothing the entire movie.
Hello, baby.
Food gags.
Well...
Oh, blah, blah, blah. You're just a weird interruption, like some kind of commercial or something. Like that. And apparently just like a commercial, the movie continues like he was barely even there.
Go! Come on, Peanut!
Hello, I can do it myself.
I thought this movie was about overcoming bullies or something. When did it turn into the lone wolf learning to work as a team?
Not dead.
But in the end, they lose because how exactly was he supposed to do this?
famous ring.
Yeah, it kind of is. We get some more dialogue of how ants are teams because that's the point of the movie now. But it turns out Lucas wasn't the only one tormenting the colony as some rival wasps start trying to steal food. And Lucas and Hova rush into the fray to run back away. You made a big deal about running into the field to run back into the grass. What exactly were you trying to do? Lucas gets separated from Hova with a wasp hot on his trail, but as the story goes, he blew him up.
Fire in the hole!
Swim away! Swim away! What was that? It's buzz time. Retreat!
Another point of this movie of stuff just happening for no other reason than the plot needs to move on. We needed the wasp attack to end, so Lucas blowing up one scared the others off, even though the others never even saw it happen. Lucas is branded a hero, but...
Wake up! He saved himself! The rest of us just got in the way.
Really, why couldn't he have a bigger role? He's got the best lines, both funny and profound. Lucas ran like a coward and saved his own ass, and even though the other ants were calling him a hero, you can see it in Lucas's face that he knows that that's the truth. It's like the conundrum from Sully. Was he trying to save a plane full of people or his own butt when he landed in the Hudson? I wish they dwelled more on this and really get the audience thinking themselves, but no, we need to move on to something more important for the kids to dwell on. So now a friend of the ants, and it's after hours, they teach him about the lore and history of the colony via some ancient hieroglyphics made by the ants' ancestors. And apparently they've been doing the same thing for a while now. Look, there's no point in trying to shove a history lesson down our throat if there's nothing to learn here. Look at this one. This is a rather accurate depiction of the last scene we were just in. Why are we wasting time with this? We learn about Aunt Jesus that has no real point in this movie, and...
It is ancient, drawn before our time. No one knows for sure what it is, except that death is said to follow it. But I think it's just a story used to scare naughty pupas into behaving.
So you believe in the Aunt Jesus, but not the destroyer of colonies in the mural next to it? And also, this brings up more questions. Does that mean this guy has some kind of vendetta against this particular colony of ants? Was that why he was so desperate to get a contract? Is there buried treasure here? What is it? You cannot have a villain of the story exist just because you need one. He's got to have some kind of reason to be doing what he's doing. Did the ants steal his food? Did Lucas's family not tip him last time? Or how about confirming this Looney Tunes story? How hard would it have been to add in a scene with Granny?
Or creep into your ear and lay eggs in your brain.
Okay, not Granny, but maybe the mother, the father, the sister telling him that he was supposed to sign the contract, making his impending arrival legit. So now Lucas needs to call off the impending extermination by infiltrating his home and getting his hands on a phone. And his plan is to entice his new insect friends with food.
Yeah, sweet rocks. My house is filled with them, in assorted colors and flavors.
Assorted flavors? Even the greenies?
Well, you'll be needing a scout.
Why are you in this movie? They hang glide their way into the kitchen and start rounding up some sweet rocks. This movie is brought to you today by...
What are you doing? Why aren't you taking the red ones?
Well, it's actually quite simple, Sugar Lips. I hate the red ones.
Well, I love the red ones.
Why are either of you in this movie? Bring back Cage Ant already. Lucas finally locates the phone and...
You got the phone to my heart, just
I'm so glad we need to stop the movie to watch this. No, really, it brings the whole movie together. What would the movie be without this scene? Back to Lucas, and he successfully calls a Stoner's Pizza Parlor.
Hello! This is Lucas Nickel. I need to cancel my order.
What? You don't want to order?
Look, we already know he failed to do what he set out to do. Why is this still going on? So the ants and Lucas have made a daring escape without calling off the exterminator or bringing back any food. Thus, going into the house was a complete bucket load of waste of time. Finally, Nicolas Cage Ant grows sick of being sidelined and is a main character again.
This is the potion that will make you big again. I just wanted you to take a good long look at it, because this is the last time you will ever see it.
What do you mean?
I mean, there is no way I'm ever going to make you big again.
But it's up to the queen, not you. You wanted to eat him.
We are not mindless savages.
This human should be studied.
And then we'll eat him.
Plus, he's been bonding well with all the other ants, despite the lack of bonding scenes with this moron. So I don't see why he's letting Nicolas Cage Ant get under his skin like this. But every other kid in every other movie has run off on his own at this point, so off Lucas goes.
Hi! Nice evening, huh? Oh, may I?
Sure, help yourself.
Thanks, I love water. I'm a beetle that loves water, but I'm not a water beetle.
Oh, why do we keep introducing dumber and dumber characters? Knock it off! Lucas encounters Frogger, and due to lack of ant powers, finds himself in the belly of the beast.
I'm afraid we will be moving along in due course.
Always with the negative with you. Why can't you be more, hey, Lenny! This is what I'm talking about. Lenny, always
Kids movie. I swear this was a kids movie. But before he can be digested, who should come to his rescue but Nicolas Cage Ant?
Hey, is that
Alcaroot? So it is.
So they magic school bus their way out of that mess and patch up their relationships to boot.
Ant will sacrifice himself for his friends.
I thought you hated me.
I didn't do it for you.
And we finally get a scene we've been waiting for. Our two main characters finally bonding.
It's a little more like, every man for himself.
But that's so primitive. How does anything get done?
Some people work together.
Some. Why not all?
I suppose it's because there are differences.
But it's the differences that make a colony strong. Foragers, scouts, drones, nurses, regurgitators, all are different but an essential part of the whole. This is where we ants draw our strength.
My differences just get me beat up.
I know it's trying, but I can't help but to nitpick. Why exactly were these bullies picking on you in the first place? You said it's because you're different. So far, you haven't done anything that different at all. But I appreciate the scene nonetheless. So the next day rolls around. Why are you in this movie? So remember that exterminator that Lucas failed to call off? Well, it's time for the climax. So with Lucas and Nicolas Cage Ant putting their heads together, they hatch a plan to counter the exterminator.
The potion! That's it! Zoc, you shrunk me, you can shrink the cloud breather!
But it involves teaming up with an old enemy.
What do you have in mind?
Well, he was easy enough to convince.
Understood! Ready! Lucas?
Good to go!
Hey, stop it! Stop it!
Quick question. Why are we sending scouts and foragers into battle? Did we run out of soldiers? I think you need to implement a much more stern draft if you are this lacking of soldiers. But the attack doesn't go as planned.
Negative. It didn't go in.
And we get to watch the third massacre of the movie. That's 3 more massacres than I was expecting to find in a kids movie. But amidst the battle, Lucas gets swatted down, and the only way to free Hova and make it to safety is to embrace that inner ant that we all have inside of us. Apparently. Nope. I don't care what mentality you have. A human cannot pull off a feat like this. It's not in their biology. So, thanks to some antics by some useless side characters, they enact Plan B, which is not as effective, but still manages to get the job done.
Oh!
No, cut! The exterminator is defeated, but I think if this guy was determined to kill these ants, he still could have done it. But hey, the movie's almost over. And for his act of heroism, the Queen clears Lucas of all charges, and he's allowed to return home. Also worth noting, these two are a couple now because of that super romantic touching scene they had off-screen, and...
Whoa!
What is with this movie continually putting this kid in his birthday suit? The parents return home, Lucas forms a newfound respect for them, granted any kid would be grateful after his adventure.
Ah, casa, sweet casa. These suitcases are muy grande, my little love Nacho. How about getting the El Doro?
I don't know what you mean, honey.
No.
Why do we keep introducing dumber and dumber characters? The movie is almost over. Cut it out. All right, one more thing. The bully problem. Because that was the point of the movie, right? So how will he put his teamwork skills into effect? By turning the bully's minions against him.
You can't. Because I'm big and you're small.
Yeah, I'm small. We're all small. But together, we're big.
No. I'm sorry. In what reality would this work?
You heard the man. Dog pile!
No! Don't hurt me! Mommy!
So in the end, this guy was just a big wuss when it counted. And these kids may have used to take part in humiliating and beating up Lucas, but hey, I guess they can be friends now. No, whatever, the movie's finally over. This Ant movie may not be the worst in the world, but it's definitely not that great. It tries, that's for sure. It could have easily just stolen as much as it could from the other movies and called it good, but that doesn't save it from being, at its best, mediocre. When Nicolas Cage Ant is in it, it's not half bad. But when they try and replace him with other crazy characters, it just doesn't work out so well. The animation is pretty well done, except when it's not. These ants do look the most ant-like in this movie, but the humans in this leave much to be desired. How far out of their way did they go to make these people this ugly? The bugs are easier on the eyes, and it reminds me of the design of the people in that dumb cow movie.
Whatever.
And finally, far too much of the plot just happens, because reasons. We need a villain, so poof, there's a villain. We need Lucas to be present for the Wasp invasion, so poof, there he is. We need the Wasp invasion to stop so we can move on to the next scene, so poof, there, it's over. So this movie is good. Except when it's not. So it's probably better to stick with the other Ant movies, but if you ever want to see what Nicolas Cage might have been as an ant, then maybe you should go check this one out too. I am the Great Matthew Squeak, and this is Squirrel Talk Review. I thank my loyal subjects for watching. Please like and subscribe to me, or you may be shrunken down and forced to work in an ant colony. Also, if you're so willing, you can help support the channel by donating your hard-earned funds to me on this Patreon system here.